What's up, boys?
What's going on?
Hello.
What's going on? How's everybody doing?
Rob, I've been feeling great lately.
Good.
Oh, good.
Excelente.
Excellent. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Forecast, the bi-weekly podcast about everything games, film, and news. I'm Aaron Juno.
I'm Alex McCausland.
I'm Ben Diaz.
I'm Caleb Juno.
I'm Chad McCausland.
And I'm Jake Fetterkyle.
On today's episode, number 202, Borderlands, the movie, makes a splash in the box office. More bad news from the video game realm, and Turkey takes a stance on Roblox, of all things. Plus, Ben has prepared comments after beating all of Elden Ring. Chad ponders the phonetic spelling of spectre. And of course, we've been playing games. If you'd like to know more about what we do, you can follow us on our social channels. You can check out our website at WeHearTheRising.com, where we have a ton of original content for you to browse through, including our new Pathfinder 2E campaign, Crown and Conquest. Actually, most recent episode, not up yet. I'm slacking today, but it will be, where you get to watch us try and figure out the rules of camping.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's exciting. Additionally, everything we talk about is in our cast notes, which is pushed out to whatever podcasting app you are using. All right. Let's do a little podcasting, actually. I know we play games a lot, but, you know, we also need to talk about things in podcast world, because that's important. And that means we got to start off with good old Chad's Community Conversation Primer, also known as CCCP. And no, Chad, I have, in fact, not checked our email recently. So I didn't look to see if we had any
get access
suggestions.
to that since I'm doing this, but
Yes,
you know.
you should. I will look if you would like me to do it right now.
Yeah, I do. I do have a question, but if there's one in our email, that's the avenue we would like to use.
Let me look 1 second. It is going to be. Looks like a. Nope. Okay, no, that's just spam. We get those a lot. I was excited there for a second.
All
I
right.
don't see any
Well,
recently.
That's fine, because in a different avenue that comes to me, and only me directly, none of you.
I wonder who that could be from.
Anonymous user says,
Yes.
"What show have you ever pity watched?"
Pity watch?
Hero.
Do you need a definition for pity watch?
Kinda, yeah.
Green Arrow.
You've watched so much of it that you have to finish it, but you don't like it.
Ooh, I have to
Describe
finish
half
it.
the anime I watch.
Half the anime
Like,
you
literally
watch.
half of them.
That's so sad.
Finish it?
I'm gonna just go check my Crunchyroll real quick.
Like, can we say like Game of Thrones?
Yeah,
Game of
that was
Thrones.
a good one.
That is a good answer.
Wow. That is
Yeah,
an
last-
excellent answer.
Last season was brutal.
Yeah, couldn't even see it.
Yeah.
They were like, "Let's get into the studio. Let's turn off all the lights, and let's just like have a bunch of sound happening." And then that was the last season.
Man,
There was a certain point in Walking Dead that I was like kind of over it, but I was like, I put in so much time, and so I just continued watching it. Now, I fall short of the definition of finishing it, because there have been so many more seasons after the arc was over that I watched. And so that was a pity watch for me towards the end there, though.
ever since, Alex, you said Game of Thrones, I keep going back to how bad Jaime's character arc was in the very last season. And it had been so promising for 7 seasons.
Yeah.
Game of
I mean, I
Thrones
feel
is a
like there
really
was
good one for this.
multiple character arcs that were
Yeah.
like so promising.
Almost
that just,
all of them.
Daenerys.
Yeah.
Like, why did
most
they
of
bring
them.
back Jon Snow? Like,
Yeah.
why was he there?
Yeah.
Hmm.
The only other one I can
Bran.
think of. Yeah, God, fucking Game of
Frickin'.
Thrones. Steins Gate Zero was really, really bad. I love Steins Gate. Vanilla Steins Gate. Steins Gate Zero was like a spin-off-y, prequel-y kind of thing. Not even prequel, but
Wait, you
it was
finished
just
it?
bad. I
Glad you
did,
defined
yeah.
that, because I was like, holy crap, I thought Steins Gate was awesome.
Yeah, Steins Gate regular is really good. Steins Gate Zero is terrible. It's one where like it's set up around like kind of like a mystery. So I spent a lot of time going like, okay, like in one more episode it's gonna get really good. I just gotta like keep going. And like one episode from the end I'm like, oh my god, it's just bad. It's just bad though.
I'm pretty sure your review made me and Caleb not watch it at all.
That is correct.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
On the same front, I watched the spin-off for Madoka Magica, and it is not good, unfortunately.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that the one that's based on a phone game?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But it's another one. The base Madoka Magica, excellent. Love Madoka
Awesome.
Magica.
Yeah.
Shame.
I keep thinking I'm kind of mixing up in my head two different types of things. One where the show just ends so poorly, but I enjoyed it until the ending. I don't feel like that qualifies. The alternate, like this is, you have to get somewhere and you're multiple episodes from the end and you're still like, I gotta finish it. I don't even,
Yeah. I don't like it.
Oh,
but
man.
I think I'm honestly looking through and I'm realizing I know I said half my anime, but most of the anime that I have watched and thought I didn't like, I just stopped watching. So
Yeah.
but, like
Smart man.
the only one I could think of would be probably if any of you have ever seen Twin Star Exorcists.
No.
I watched one episode and thought it wasn't very good, so I stopped watching.
It was one of those. The first couple episodes are bad, and then it gets decent for like a season, and then it just kind of goes down and down and down. Well, it also I found out later because I did follow up on it. Apparently, it's one of those anime where the people making the anime had to go ahead of the people writing the manga, so the anime changes the plot from the manga after a certain point. And I went back and I read the manga later. Manga's actually pretty good. Anime, not good. But I did finish it.
My real answer is actually Riverdale.
Oh, that's a good
Riverdale.
one.
Ooh, that's weird too because it had like a huge break between like the season that came out way later, right? Like the like sort of final season.
I think they had like a COVID break and then the final season happened. But this show, so it's not like a very great show to begin with. It's kind of like junk food, but it's enjoyable. It's pretty cringe a lot of times, but I liked it for what it was. For like the first like 4 seasons, and then it kind of started to go downhill a little bit, but it was still fine. But then the last season, they did this thing where they sent all the characters back in time. At some point, they did a time skip where everybody was like grown up and they were like working as teachers and stuff in the high school that they were at for the rest of the show. And then the last season, they do a reverse where they go back in time and all the characters are back in high school again, but also they're like 30 years old. So that's a little weird. But they get through this entire season. The crux of the season is they don't have any of their memories. So they don't remember that they've been sent back in time, except for one character does. And so the entire season, he's trying to get everybody to remember who they actually are and the bad guy that they have to defeat. And they actually get to the end of the season and decide, you know what? We actually like our lives here. We're going to keep our new memories. And they end the show being essentially completely separate characters from who they were for the entire rest of the show. Brand new characters that were invented in the last season with brand new memories and new relationship statuses between them.
What?
And
sorry, I missed the beginning. What show is this one?
Riverdale. The last season was like, I'm like trying to get closure on all these characters and like keep on doing the in the past nobody has a memory thing. I'm like, come on guys, come on, get back to the present, get your memories back. We know it's going to happen eventually. They just don't do it. They just don't do it. They stay in the past in the 50s. I'm like, you guys are stupid.
I would like to change my answer for anime to Darling in the Franxx.
Oh man,
that's a really good pick.
Yeah,
that I would like to change my answer to that too.
So good.
It's
And
really
just
good for the
end.
first
the last like 3 episodes are like
it's like the first 2/3 is like the end. If they ended after 2/3 of the way through, it'd be like top tier, and then that last third is hot garbage.
Man.
It's so bad.
Trigger was like, wait, we didn't go to space yet.
Oh my god,
the aliens aren't the bad
No,
guys
no,
yet.
guys,
We
you don't
gotta
have to.
we gotta put that in here. Who didn't write that in?
Yeah, what a good pick.
Jeez.
No, the girl becomes the ship. Don't worry.
So dumb.
Yeah, I have so Arrow's a give me just because of how long I watched Arrow, and at some point it just became absolute ridiculousness. Right around the time that we always quote, if you're a frequent viewer of our podcast, it's the death is an illusion in some parts of the world. That's where it just went, whew,
Yep.
went out the window. what was the other one? The one Riverdale. That's definitely a good one. Walking Dead. The one that I definitely pity watched was Manifest. I really enjoyed the concept in the beginning. I think they had a great story. There was some good meat there, and then at a certain point, I think COVID and writer's strike hit them, and it just went downhill. But I was like, but I've already watched this much. Like, I gotta finish. Like, I know that this is the last season, and I gotta finish it.
Mm-hmm.
Heroes.
Did you
I hope that's
finish
what you
watching
said
Heroes?
earlier.
No, I thought Game of Thrones. The very first thing I said was Arrow, but then I was like, well, that can't count because I've never actually finished it. I did pity watch multiple episodes of that show, but didn't count because I didn't wrap it up. But
Yeah, man,
Heroes.
Heroes season 3.
what a letdown. The writer strike comment reminded me. Oh
Mhm.
yeah, that's what ruined that
Yeah.
show. Man, good question brought by anonymous user.
Yeah.
Love
Thank you,
that.
anonymous user, if you can hear.
Yeah, thank you so much. All right. That's been CCCP. Let's move on to a couple things in news realm. And Alex, we always like to start the podcast off really high and then to have us just plummet way far down. Oh, are these Ben's notes actually? They're in Ben's color.
Yeah,
But
they're mine.
About your stuff.
Whoa, Ben, you're stepping on other
Alex can
people's
take them
categories.
if he wants. I just happen to get there first. But Alex,
Yeah,
if
you
you want
got
to talk
that.
about them, you can.
I'll certainly have things to say about it, but it's your topic. You go.
All right, I'll start it off. I mean, so first off, Bungie announced a bunch of layoffs. They're laying off 220 roles which is roughly 17% of the studio's workforce.
I wonder why.
They've basically said that they're dropping support for pretty much everything that is not Destiny or Marathon.
Whoa, really?
I know it's shocking.
Weird.
They haven't given a whole lot of details, but they basically went, yeah, we were trying to do too many things at the same time and it wasn't good, so we had to cut down.
Mm.
Although they say they are still working with PlayStation to spin out an incubation project that's a sci-fi action game, but they haven't given any additional details.
I really think they
Yeah.
could have taken those 17% and put them on bringing vaulted content back to Destiny 2. That would have been a good first start.
There's already a team that can do that. It's fine.
Yeah. They can do it. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I
that-
want it right now, Chad.
I think the 17% was the 220 people, right? Is that correct?
Yes, 17%, 220 people.
Okay, so they had that, and then on top of that, 155 people were moved from Bungie proper to Sony,
Oh, I missed that
and
part.
that is, I think, the team that's going to be working on their incubation project or whatever. But basically, I think the way it's worded, they're not like being overseen by Bungie anymore, even though they're technically part of
Yeah.
Bungie still.
See, that's 12% of their staff were integrated into Sony.
So it's weird because Sony's kind of been letting them do their thing, but now Sony is starting to step in and take some of their people and be like, all right, work on this thing now. So that's something.
My understanding was it was like as long as Bungie was hitting certain targets,
Yep.
Bungie could be autonomous.
Right.
But once they started slipping, Sony got to basically take control of them.
And Final Shape didn't actually hit the target.
Surprisingly.
Which is surprising.
Yeah.
Didn't
Lightfall
have
actually
enough
sold
shapes.
more.
Yeah, Lightfall hit
that's
higher,
probably
like
why.
way higher peak concurrent numbers.
I agree. I think that's why the Final Shape probably did not do as well. Is because
That's
Lightfall did so well in
Lightfall-
sales, but it was such a disappointment from
Lightfall
like story
disappointed too many
content.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't come back. Yeah, we got also news on a project called Payback out of Bungie at the same
This
time.
is awful.
So Payback's been a thing floating around for a while. Everybody assumed it was the code name for Destiny 3. It turns out it wasn't, and they've never been working on Destiny 3. And so all my dreams of them doing Final Shape and then in a few years Destiny 3 coming out and resetting everything and it's just ruined. But Jason Schreier wrote this big article about it. He has some insider knowledge. He says, I'll just read this quote. One of Bungie's big bets was Payback, an incubation project set in the Destiny universe that would shake up the formula in major ways, according to people familiar. It would pivot from a first-person to a third-person perspective and allow players to use the franchise's characters to explore a large world while cooperating to battle monsters and solve puzzles. The pitch took elements from popular games such as Warframe and Genshin Impact. Although several internet rumors of the past few months suggested Payback would be a sequel to Destiny 2, it was a significant departure from the previous two games, according to people familiar, and would have been perceived more as a spin-off. So some sort of Destiny gacha game they're working on, which just sounds horrible. Pretty happy that it's not happening, to be honest.
Did he use the phrase "according to people familiar" twice in the same comment?
Yep.
Okay.
He did. Definitely did.
All right. Cool. Man. That's
Taking cues from Genshin Impact. That's what I want to hear. In
Hey,
my
man.
People really like Genshin Impact. Yeah.
It's
Man.
true. It makes a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
People
I
really
am.
like Warframe too for some reason.
yeah.
I've never gotten into that game.
Honestly, I'd take Warframe stuff over Genshin. Oh, you know what? I haven't actually give Genshin a shot.
I am
so
the guy who came on here and advocated for Honkai Star Rail, which
Maybe.
is
That's
amazing
true.
in space.
Maybe.
So
Mhm.
I haven't played Genshin, so I can't really talk much.
I mean, it's not happening. It just sucks that Bungie. I mean, it basically sounds like leadership shit the bed really hard. Like,
Yeah.
I don't. Instead of spinning off a third project, maybe you should have focused on Destiny, which was making money but obviously had a lot of issues.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
you
think
should have found that into advertising the final shape, which reviewed really good. It
Mhm.
should have been a big moneymaker for you. The fact that it wasn't is like, I think, kind of embarrassing.
I think the CEO, when he made the statement about the layoffs and stuff like that, even said like it was a failing of management, that they basically have severely mismanaged Bungie for a while.
Okay, so that he was like stepping down when he said that, and he like
No,
gave him his
no, he
position?
was
No.
Good one.
he,
Good
he
one.
sent that, and then he went to the car dealership after,
Mm-hmm.
bought some
Mhm.
more classic cars.
Heck yeah.
As
Yeah, I
I've
believe-
discovered, he's spent like $500,000 in the last 6 months on classic cars or something,
Is
Love
that
that.
it? I thought it was more.
maybe more.
Love that energy.
He has a
it
public
up.
profile on like a car bidding website that just has all of his stuff in it.
He has a quote about the layoffs.
He does.
Uh,
Yeah.
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 We have to enhance the efficiency of the business. Yes.
Oh,
The purpose
Fuck
is
off.
cost, the structure, and portfolio optimization.
business speak, please.
Yeah.
So like less bonuses for C-level staff, and he's taking a pay cut.
Yeah,
Good one.
totally.
Good
That-
one.
Mm-hmm. He has
That or-
spent
You know,
2.3 million on classic cars since they got acquired by Sony.
sheesh. Since they got acquired by Sony, okay.
Yes, so it's not he laid a bunch of people off and then spent this money, but he did
Mhm.
get acquired, spend all this money, and then lay people off.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Yeah.
that's still pretty grim.
Yep.
Ugh.
Man.
I just Final Shapes felt like the game was in such a good place. It felt like it was really
Mm-hmm.
in a spot to flourish. And now suddenly, very shortly after that, we're talking about how Destiny might just be dead. I think they've also said they're not going to do yearly paid expansions anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to do like scaled back, smaller stuff that will not be paid, presumably.
Yeah,
Or
I
maybe
kind of
it'll
thought
be like a seasonal battle pass or something. I don't know.
I kind of thought that was because Destiny 3 was in the works.
Right?
So they were
Like
just
they're-
sunsetting Destiny 2 so that way they could focus more on Destiny 3. But now it's like, oh, maybe they just didn't know what the fuck they were doing.
Mhm.
Just like, you know, putting Destiny 2 in maintenance mode, do smaller
Mhm.
updates, get the new game ready. No, it's more like we don't have a primary game anymore. Maybe we're going to put all of our eggs in Marathon somehow.
Well, we still don't know what Frontiers is, and we honestly don't know their plan after. But sure,
I mean,
I'm-
that's what
I'm
they-
sure them gutting it and going down to Marathon and Destiny, there's no way that they don't continue to do Destiny 2 stuff.
they've said they're going to continue, but they've said no more like traditional paid expansions.
Yeah, until the money starts falling in.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
Good point.
currently they say that, but guess what? Tomorrow they can announce, oh, just kidding, expansions.
That is true. They have gone back on what they've said a lot in the past.
I also want to highlight a couple of closures. We're going to swap the order of these because the first one is also a studio. We're already talking about a studio. The makers
Yeah.
of Echo VR. Alex, are you so sad?
I think it was like one of the better VR projects. First of all, I should say Ready at Dawn is the studio. Meta is closing them down or has already closed them down. But yeah, they did Echo VR, they did Lone Echo 2.
Man, Lone Echo is one of the best VR games.
Right? It's one of the best VR games. And before that, they did like traditional games. They did the Order 1886 on PlayStation 4, which people, now that the studio is closing, is saying it was like a hidden gem and people didn't give it enough credit, etc. They kind of started off as like a side story dev. They did Daxter and God of War Chains of Olympus on the PlayStation Portable.
Interesting. Daxter was pretty good, actually. I liked Daxter.
Yeah, and they did God of War Ghost of Sparta on Portable as well.
What a weird portfolio.
Mm-hmm. Strange.
So they've been going for a while, though. I think they were probably one of the better devs that Meta had. So
do you feel like development just
that's weird.
in general in the VR space is kind of like
it's slowed a lot,
non-existent anymore?
It's definitely slowed a lot.
I can't even tell you the last title that I heard of coming out that was a VR title, specific VR title.
Yeah. There's some interesting stuff that pops up here and there at like shows and stuff, but it's always a Meta exclusive and I don't have a Quest.
Yeah.
So like I don't really pay attention to it after that point.
Yeah.
I also feel like the target audience is so small. Like if you look at the overarching audience for video games in general,
I get
VR
frustrated
is like
every
a
time.
Tiny amount.
Because the Meta Quest exclusives pop up and I'm like, well, I don't have that headset, so guess I'm not playing that. And then every once in a while, there's like a PlayStation VR exclusive also. And I'm like, I don't have that either. So, and then PlayStation just seems like they've stopped supporting PSVR 2 like super early.
Oh, really?
There's kind of nothing else coming out for it. And then they just released an app on PC that you can hook the headset to PC now, which kind of seems like they've given up on it being an exclusive like system seller for them.
Yeah, the market's so small to make your thing exclusive seems weird, but I guess you want to sell your hardware also, so you almost got to.
That's strange.
Last but not least, in closures, after 33 years, Game Informer shutting down, obviously due to our success, so our apologies, Game Informer.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Game Informer.
Yeah. But
This
yeah,
is
that's what a crazy run.
Yeah, that's a sad one for me, just because I like when I was like younger and I was just getting into video games, I kind of got in off of a subscription to Game Informer, and I used to read through every magazine that came out. And obviously, I haven't. Well, I guess it's not obvious, but I haven't in a really long time. But I still remember how excited I'd get when like a new magazine would come out. I'd get it at home, read it all. It's bit of nostalgia seeing it's finally shutting down. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, yeah,
It's one of the big ones
to me that it lasted that long. Like I never really considered it. Frankly, the fact that it got announced that it was shutting down, I was like, man, they were still making it? Like
Were they independent?
No. They were I think pretty much the entire time they were tied to GameStop.
Oh, they were tied to GameStop. Okay.
Yeah. Frankly, it wasn't until apparently a year ago that you could actually get a Game Informer subscription without having like a GameStop Plus like subscription to their having a membership at GameStop. It was only a year ago where they were like, okay, you can buy a subscription without, having a GameStop membership. But apparently that did not plug the hole leaking money in their business.
The fact that GameStop is still around is amazing.
I feel like they wouldn't have been if it hadn't have been for the meme stock crisis.
I feel like
Certainly helped.
I don't know when the last time you've been in a GameStop is, but I feel like it's about 50% like nerd merchandise at this point. Like
It's
there's
like
like
half
you go
Funko Pops.
half the stores like Funko Pops and like stuffed animal Pokemon and just like toys and like you got like Naruto hats and anime stuff. Like there's not nearly as many games anymore.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because who wants to make physical copies of games anymore, other than like limited run?
Yeah,
that's like their entire business model. Who want like new games being released? It just seems weird to put something in a physical format anymore, unless it's again for something unique. I don't know. My opinion.
Yeah.
Game Informer was like the last big game magazine, I think, though. I don't really think there's anything else. And they were really trusted in the industry. They still, even in the last few years, routinely got big cover stories that they would be like the first people to be able to preview some exclusive new game.
Is PC Gamer still around?
It's at least around on the internet. I don't know if the magazine still exists. It might.
Similar to, sorry, this wasn't on our talking points, but it was a thing I saw earlier that I forgot about. I know,
Ben, you can't
I
do
know.
that.
I'm
You can't talk
ad-libbing.
about it.
You can't just take over.
Watch me, I'm fighting. I was gonna say, similar to what Aaron just said about like who makes physical games anymore. Have you guys seen the articles or stories about the Deadpool game and its sales following Deadpool and Wolverine coming out?
Mm-hmm.
The old Deadpool game that like got shut down and delisted. Apparently, mint condition copies of it people are so excited for this new Deadpool movie that mint condition copies of it are selling for like $140, $150 a pop right now.
Holy crap.
Like
That's
unopened
ridiculous.
copies of this delisted Deadpool game. It's very funny.
It's like a PS3 game, if memory serves.
Wow. Okay.
Before we get off the closures and move
Yes.
into a different topic, one last thought that I had about the Bungie thing is I almost think that they can't really say anything about whatever project they're about to work on and or expansions because that kind of locks them in. And currently they're doing a bunch of business shifting anyways, and so why wouldn't they just want to keep the door open to make Destiny 3 or maybe there's a new saga that they want to do in Destiny 2. But I really can't see them not. They can't, like, they just did the layoffs. They can't also just like stop making content for their games and like in a big way to actually like fund what they want to fund for, you know, hit the market and stuff like that. So
That would be nuts for them to do that. One note in kind of a crossover scenario, Nier Automata has shown up at the Olympics with the Japanese swimming team.
Yeah. Yeah, there wasn't too much to say about this. I just thought it was neat that the Japanese synchronized swimming team set their routine to a Nier Automata song.
Nice.
That
that's
was
what
awesome.
we're talking about.
Now,
Yeah.
can you confirm if you were watching synchronized swimming when you heard this song or you read an article after the fact?
Definitely read an article after the fact.
Yeah, you're not into synchronized swimming? Caleb,
Not really. Can't say I am.
You should be. It's
That's-
very impressive.
it's incredibly
It is
huh?
impressive. I'm not saying it's not.
I watched some synchronized swimming. I watched a little bit of, a lot of the
Bruh.
Olympics.
I saw an Olympics thread of like best pictures from the Olympics, and it's like it was on Twitter, so of course it's brain rot. And it's just all these pictures of the skimpiest, skinniest, tiniest little outfits that all of them are wearing at the Olympics.
Yeah.
Air resistance, water resistance, man.
Top tier's the pole vaulter. That's just that was.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man,
Gosh.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
At least
Last-
he showed that he had some manhood going in there. You know,
Last but not least,
be such
in
a man to
news-
spoil yourself.
Let Aaron change the subject. Damn it, Chad.
We're transitioning.
last but not least,
We're talking
Turkey
penis.
has decided to block Roblox over
What?
abuse concerns. Yes.
I did
Alex,
hear
maybe you
that.
can speak more to this.
That's interesting.
I just wanted to mention it because I had like a deep dive on all of the abusive tactics that they pull on children.
Yeah,
a,
it was
a while
crazy.
back.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so people are starting to pay attention. I guess the Turkish government has
At
been
least the
like,
Turkish government is.
this isn't good for children. We're gonna ban it. So that has happened.
Good reporting, Alex. Thank you.
You got it.
Appreciate that.
The Turkish government, huh?
Oh,
Mhm.
Huh.
yes,
okay.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I want to move on to one quick thing in tabletop. I was just reading this article the other day. I thought it was pretty interesting. There's a game called City of Six Moons. I'm really intrigued, and I kind of want to pick it up primarily because this game has been in development since pre-COVID, so it's like 2018 is when they started working on it, and the designer shelved it because they felt like it needed something else, like another layer on top of it. So fast forward to late 2023, And they injected this concept that in order to play the game, you have to decipher the rule book. Like literally from scratch. It's like essentially an made up alien language. You have to decipher from scratch to be able to play the game.
From scratch.
And from scratch to be able to play the game.
It's taking complex gameplay to it.
Like, widowy, you have to.
Widowy. Yeah.
Widowy from scratch.
The interesting thing that I'm just like intrigued by this is that their intent is to not confirm the like proper usage of the language, and there are multiple ways that it can be interpreted in order to beat the game so far. So she's like watched a whole bunch of people play test the game and or play it after it actually was released, and there's multiple approaches to how to complete it. And so they're like, well, we're not gonna provide any information about whether or not your interpretation, your translation of the rule book is accurate enough to be playing this game the way it is intended to be played. Which I find weird, intriguing, interesting. I don't know. It kind of, to me, it kind of pulls me back to a little bit of like the Tunic realm of like having to decipher that storybook, that rule book, in order to figure out how to do specific things in the game. And I think that's really neat. I just don't know how that would translate to a tabletop game, but I think that could be, I think it could be interesting. The initial people that sort of got it translated enough to beat the game, it took them about 20 hours of figuring out the language in order to get there. So I guess if you want to make an investment.
A long time of just figuring out the language.
Yeah, it's its own game at that point, I guess. I don't know. Game within a game? Tabletop ARG? I don't know. It's interesting. City of Six Moons is what it's called. Maybe I'll pick it up and try to figure it out. But I don't know. Translating languages seems very complex, so maybe not. Also, film-related things. Okay, here we go. Skibbity Toilet. Knew this was going to come up sooner or later.
All right, I'm off the bye, guys.
First of all, okay, so this story isn't just that they're doing a Skibbity Toilet movie, but I had no idea, and I think that is ridiculous. But they're doing a Skibbity Toilet movie directed by Michael Bay. So
wait, okay, pause. So you said you had no idea, and you think that's ridiculous. You think it's ridiculous that you had no idea?
I think it's ridiculous that the movie's happening. But the story that I want to talk about is
Michael
actually
Bay, huh?
that Gary's mod, where Skibbity Toilet was originally made, essentially, got DMCA claims for the assets related to Skibbity Toilet. Because the movie is a thing now, and they're claiming to own the copyright to the models and whatnot. So there's the guy on YouTube that used Gary's mod to animate these dumb little shorts, got a movie deal. Movie company comes in, says, all right, cool, we're going to take the G-Man head in a toilet and say that that's our copyright. Takes it, DMCA claims Gary's mod. You should take down these models. What are you doing? Those are our models.
How do you think you legally argue that in court?
I don't know.
I feel like you don't have a leg to stand on because
Right?
it's a
Absolutely
Half-Life
not.
They're
2
not
model.
even. They're not even Gary. Like they're not even. They're Valve models. Like
Right,
they're
that's why
Half-Life
they're
models.
in Gary's mod, because they're from Half-Life, which Valve
I don't
owns.
understand. So
Jesus Christ.
yeah, that story broke, and I was like, that is crazy. And then I was like, wait a second, they're doing a Skibbity Toilet movie? What the? Since that story broke, it has now been said that the claims have been cleared up. I don't know how that worked, but
Michael Bay is just going
it's
to
not
have
a-
red error text where every toilet's supposed to be.
not a problem anymore. Everything's fine. So
Do you think Michael Bay just called Gabe, was like, hey,
Probably.
Gabe.
Hey,
They hang out.
Gaby, my boy.
yeah.
Hey,
I want to
man.
know how the pitch went. Who brought to Michael Bay, like, all right, bear with me. Watch this video of this animated toilet man singing Skibbity Bop Bop. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, all right, now we're going to we want to do a movie out of this. It'll make so much money. Trust me.
And he's just like,
He's like, all right, I'm in. He's like, can I do more drone shots? They're like, yeah, you can do so
Gotta
many
do
drone shots. He's like, cool. I'm in.
Oh no.
Is this
Golden
actually
hour
a
drone
Netflix
shots
original?
coming in. I don't know. Is it a Netflix original? I just know Michael
I
Bay is
don't-
doing it.
I can't tell which one of these trailers is actually real.
I doubt there's a trailer for it yet. I don't think I've seen a trailer.
I was
It's
in
a
the
s-
middle, like earlier this week, I was in the middle of listening to like a news and politics podcast, and they went to break, and one of the ads was from another podcast, and they were talking about how they were making a Skibbity Toilet movie, and I was like, how are these things aligning right now? This makes no sense. I should not be getting an ad for this based on what I'm listening to. Very strange across the board.
Oh boy.
Skibbity Toilet.
You know how it's gonna break box office?
Probably.
Kids are gonna be like, yo, let's go see this. And parents are gonna be like, what is this? But they're still gonna bring the kids. That's all that matters.
That's right.
I can't wait to see Michael Bay's rendition of the Toilet Man.
Probably just gonna be Optimus Prime.
Yes, man. I hope they get Rihanna in it just because it feels like
Yes.
that's something that needs to happen.
The voice of our generation.
What is this, Battleship?
Yeah,
Mhm.
it feels like something like Battleship to me for some reason.
Okay.
And they talk about the art of war.
Hmm.
The other
Fight your
thing we need
enemy
to
where
talk
they're
about
not.
in film world is Borderlands movie.
Do we have
Which-
to?
Is out as of, I think, technically late last night, because that's how movie releases work now. Friday releases on Wednesday at 7 or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's coming out
They-
Friday. Wednesday. Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Wednesday is what I meant. Yeah.
They
Mhm.
also remove it from the theaters in the same night.
Haha.
Ah, man.
Got him.
I want to talk about two things. One, what the Rotten Tomatoes current score is, and two, what the Rotten Tomatoes original score was just about 2 hours ago. Right now it's 6%. A couple hours ago,
P dang low.
it was literally at 0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
0%. Some quotes. Just interesting quotes. From discussing film. The fans deserve a lot better than whatever director Eli Roth is trying to do with Borderlands. This is the video game movie curse at its worst. Which is really saying a lot, because there's been a lot of really bad video game movies. Next best picture. It's impressive how Roth can elicit the poor quality of 2000 video game adaptation energy, yet somehow forget the discernible sense of fun or style that made even those terrible movies stand out. And
That's
from
good.
IGN, Borderlands is an abysmal waste of a beloved franchise that takes a kooky band of murderous misfits and drains the life out of their first adventure together.
Has anybody like looked at Kevin Hart's like schedule? Like, does he just like have just jam packed, just create B-list movies constantly?
Probably.
That is what it seems like.
I don't understand why they made him Roland. It's
I
so.
mean, what? Jamie Lee Curtis is Lilith?
It's so.
What a weird choice.
Yeah.
She's
And this Kate Blanchett.
Also, you're gonna make it a
It's Kate
PG-13
Blanchett.
movie?
Mm-hmm.
How's that gonna work for Borderlands? Apparently, it's not. Is the
Yeah.
answer.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Feel
Like, literally, I was so excited when somebody said they were making a Borderlands movie, and then I saw the first trailer. I went,
Yeah.
"Oh." Actually, no. I just heard who they were casting, and I went, "Oh
Yeah.
no."
The excitement was swiftly stomped out as soon as the
Yes.
cast was released, and it's like,
Jamie Lee Curtis is Dr. Patricia
Brother-
Tanis.
Oh, yeah.
She's Tannis. Excuse me.
Kate Blanchett is
Kate
Lilith.
Blanchett, yeah.
Kate
man.
Blanchett. Okay. I mean, it's still
Also-
a weird pick, but
Yeah.
fine. Okay.
She's still too old for Lilith. I don't.
yo,
Their casting's so weird.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Strange.
I just want to see the to-do list on Kevin Hart's day-to-day. One is like wake up, maybe go to the gym, because I mean he does look kind of fit, right?
Yeah.
And then the next thing is like maybe hang out with the family and the kids. And the next thing is like make a bad comedy special. And then the next thing is like release a B-list movie.
I feel like this should have been similar in some ways to the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Oh,
Like,
and go to
take
a
that-
roast.
Yeah.
Forgot
Take
about
that
one.
formula and be like, all right, do a Borderlands thing.
Here's the
They
thing.
crushed it. It was.
I don't
Dungeons
know
and
how-
Dragons did a great job with it.
Yeah, I don't know how
Yeah.
everyone
Right?
making video game movies now does not look at Dungeons and Dragons and go, "Oh, this
Yeah,
is
right.
how you make a good film."
Here's the problem, guys. I don't think Dungeons and Dragons made any fucking money.
Yeah, I don't think it did.
So,
Oh,
like-
it didn't? Oh,
No,
that's
I don't
such
think
a
anyone
good
went to
movie,
see
though.
it.
It was
didn't
good.
do
It was
it,
good.
I
It
don't
was
think.
really fun. I don't think it made any money.
Why do you think that's just because people had such low expectations because of all of the previous video game movies? Well, video game, I guess, not in that case, but you know what I mean.
It's
I-
close enough. It's
I'll be the
adjacent.
first to admit, I had horrible expectations of it until I saw
Yeah.
some trailers, and I was like cautiously optimistic
Mhm.
enough to go watch it. Although I did, to be fair, I did wait until it released on a platform I could just stream at home to watch it. I didn't see it in theaters, so I'm certainly part of the problem.
I feel like I would also say, looking into marketing from that, you have Marvel, which is nerdy but also cool, like quote unquote cool, and then you have Dungeons and Dragons, which is like, oh, those are like the Cheetos under the fingernail guys. Like that's, I mean, it's now becoming mainstream and cool, but like, man, is it like to a regular average board game or gamer? Dungeons and Dragons is that nerdy thing, so that you're not going to go see a movie like that.
Man,
Chad, you can't tell me board game movies aren't popular when Jumanji exists. Come on.
Okay, but Jumanji was already popular from the past movies.
so
Jumanji's
Honor Among
weird, though, right?
Thieves.
'Cause Jumanji was not actually a board game before
Right,
it
I
was a
know.
movie.
Right.
Well, yeah, it's a fake
Don't get
board
me
game
on
in the movie.
technicalities, Aaron. There's a
So-
board game in it.
The D&D movie came out March 31st, 2023. Imagine if it came out like towards the end of the year and they marketed it as like, hey, you guys like Baldur's Gate, right? This movie's kind of like that.
Oh my
See,
gosh.
that's where it would have crushed.
I mean,
yeah.
okay, for what it's worth, it's not that they didn't make money. They made $58 million. The budget was
Oh.
150 million. It made $208 million worldwide.
Okay.
So they made
That's a lot better than I thought.
Not a ton though.
money. Not a
lot.
ton.
Not
what they're looking
Hollywood
for.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I want to be honest, like Chris Pine, like when I
Oh,
saw
get
him,
outta
I was
here.
like, eh.
That, he's the best part of the show.
Get out of here.
Absolutely.
But then, like, you go see it and you're like, oh, he actually does
He's
fit
good in it.
this.
Yeah,
I
he's
love
great.
Chris Pine.
Mm.
There's
Yeah.
so many good things to watch Chris Pine in. Chad, we need to get you watching more Chris Pine movies. You
does.
gotta watch all the Star Treks. Very
Oh, man.
important. Excellent
Chris Pine,
films.
Yeah,
I
but you
feel
watch
like in
him
a lot of the movies I've seen him in, I'm like, you do a really good job. Just sometimes you're in movies that are just not great.
Yeah,
Like,
so
loved him in Wonder Woman. Just
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
rest of the movie was just passable, but he was
That's
really
true.
good as his part. Sorry, Chad, didn't mean to keep cutting you
yeah,
off.
I just didn't picture Chris Pine as like a good bard.
Yeah.
And then like you actually watch that movie and you're like, dang, he is actually kind of witty and he's not Captain Kirky at all.
Well,
Nope.
people always debate whether is he actually a bard.
Well, true, but you know, for the purposes of this podcast,
Yes.
and being able to describe between Captain Kirk and what he should have been in that movie.
Also, did you just like change my Borderlands color to your color, Aaron?
Did I what?
That's illegal.
What?
In the
I'll-
notes.
think
I
that-
put it in there earlier.
So,
Somebody deleted it or changed
Speaking
it.
of changing,
Yeah, I changed it. Sorry. My apologies.
dude, he just wanted something to talk about.
Yeah, I don't ever have anything to talk about. So anyway, 6% is where it's currently at. So I think, guys, we have to go watch it and rate it. I think this has got to be what our
I don't wanna
podcast
give
does
them
as a
money.
group.
They might want to make another one.
Just sneak in. It's easy
true.
to sneak in.
Just sneak in.
Yeah, let's go see
okay.
something else, and then we can, you know,
Yes,
line
exactly.
up the times correctly,
Yeah.
and then we can just go see that as well.
I'm pretty sure this day and age, I could just walk into the theater. Nobody
Honestly,
would care.
they just
Does seem
probably
like it.
wouldn't
Nobody
care.
cares. You see people, they're like, no, they're not checking.
Alex went and got a drink one time, and then he just like walked by, and he's like, "Did you pay for this?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I totally paid for that." And he's like, "Okay, cool," because nobody checked me.
Wild.
They didn't
mean-
care.
Did I tell you guys about the story? I got carded to go see Joker.
Oh, really?
They asked to see
Oh.
my ID, and
Yeah,
I
you
was
look
like,
like a young boy.
"Yeah, are you being serious right now?
That's
Do you
crazy.
think I'm 16 years old? Like, what do you mean?"
That's a compliment, Jake.
I suppose. I mean, is it though? I think it is.
This might be too far to be a compliment.
Yeah, it's too far to be a compliment.
Was it like
Yeah, I
opening
guess-
night?
It was. I don't know if it was. It might have been like opening weekend, but still, it was
Yeah.
just. It was very. I,
I guess,
know people were
some-
scared of Joker. It's gonna turn our kids into shooters more
Gosh.
so than they already are.
I guess getting carded for alcohol may be a compliment. Getting
That one's
carded
a
for a
compliment
rated
at
R
this point.
movie.
Yeah, right. It was literally, I came from a dinner where I did not get carded for alcohol.
Yeah.
Walked over, got carded
Great.
for an R-rated movie. I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Incredible.
Yeah,
Incredible.
they just saw the acne on your face, so you know.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Okay, a couple things in video game realm. Chad, I don't know how to say this word, so it's
Yeah.
either
Oh my gosh.
spectre or spectre, but spectre
It's,
divide.
It's spectre.
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 Beast tree.
Yeah, so
Divide?
Spectre
Ooh.
Divide. It's a new
DVD.
tactical shooter that is in the works. Shroud has a heavy hand in development, it seems like. It is basically just a Valorant and or CSGO clone. Seems like the recoil is not the same as those, though. There was somebody on a stream with Shroud at one point, and they asked the question if you should move while shooting or stop, and Shroud was like, "Oh no, just keep moving." So that makes
Yeah,
me
I've
very
actually-
excited.
I've seen more comments from the devs on this. They specifically made it so if you're ADSing, wherever your cursor is on ADS is actually where you're shooting.
I am excited
Oh.
about that. That
if
is
you're
like
hip
the one.
firing, you can still spread.
Sure, yeah, that's okay for me. I mean, hip fire, you planted your muzzle in their freaking throat to do that, so you're gonna hit the shots. Anyways, it's a cool concept though, because it is a 3v3 tactical shooter, 2 points defense, and you control 2 players though. So it is actually technically a 6v6. You have an ability to throw out what they call your spectre, and you can shift between mid-match that spectre. So if you throw it on position B and you move over to A, you can just keep hot swapping back and forth across the map. So you can set up some cool plays with that, such as like throwing a smoke over a wall and your spectre, and then teleporting to that spectre in that smoke going out of it. It's going to be some unique gameplay coming to the shooter genre, in my opinion. And
A
I'm
lot
looking forward
of
to it.
strategies you could do with it. You can like
Yeah.
plant a bomb and also cover yourself at the same time. Because if you start planting and then swap, your spectre will just keep on planting.
That's cool. Yeah.
And or diffusing, same situation.
Wow.
They also have a system where if you open the map, you can like direct your other character where to go on the map.
That's cool.
Oh, that's another big one. When you spawn in, if you've ever played CSGO or Valorant mostly, there's like a wall that divides to where you can like start setting up. You can click anywhere on the map on your side and it'll teleport you to that location, so you don't have to like take forever walking out of spawn every single round.
That's cool.
The
Two
other
things.
innovation
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. You're good.
is, so there's always like a buy phase in these games where you have to buy weapons. The difference in this one is you have to buy weapons as sets of 2 because you need a weapon for your spectre, and the sets of 2 are not the same weapon. So they're 2 different
that's fun.
weapons.
Oh.
So they are mixing and matching certain weapons on purpose to try to limit, like, I'm just buying the meta weapon for myself. You have to buy, like, if you want the quote unquote meta weapon, you have to also get this other one that comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
And so you
That's
end
an
up having
interesting
to use
approach.
a lot more different weapons.
That's cool.
Okay, when Chad first mentioned this game to me while we were playing disc golf
Mm-hmm.
and described the mechanics and reminded me that Shroud is one of the people who's helping with development, I immediately thought there's no way I can sweat enough to be able to participate in this gameplay. Because he's just gonna, like, it just immediately seems sweaty. But I think some of the mechanics it seems like they're introducing feel like they're trying to solve some problems with this game type or this gameplay style to really make it more approachable for other people, other players, which I think is really cool. The being able to defuse a bomb while you're watching your own specter while it's defusing the bomb, really neat. I think that's just like a fun approach. And then this whole buying of guns that are not the same so you can't get a meta weapon. Man, yes, I'm on board for that. I would love for a game to not just devolve into meta weapons all the time.
Yeah. I feel like you're going to have your skill ceiling very high because of the amount of maneuvers you can do with your Spectre. But at a average gamer level, like just pick it up and play, it might just be a fun, I now have 2 lives in this tactical mode kind of thing. Until you start really thinking about like, all right, where can I position my Spectre? Let me like actually know, like, all right, that corner right there is not usually something that people can get to. Another thing is like, if I'm standing here and I like there's a platform above me, like let me throw my Spectre up there so that I can get up there, because the only other angle that I could get up there was like going towards the enemies first and then going up the stairs or something like that. Like now I have the option to transverse the map. It's cool stuff. It's very unique. One of the things that I wanted to mention with it, though, is it is coming in a closed beta August 13th to the 21st, and I think you can request right now on Steam, and there should be drops happening, I think, while the closed beta is happening.
Cool.
Yeah, on Twitch, I think. Yep.
Yeah.
Check it
About
out.
That will be cool.
how you can throw your puck and like get up on ledges you couldn't get to immediately. I saw a talk with Shroud. He was talking about the maps we've seen on the game so far are pretty like standard, like you would find them in Valorant or CSGO or whatever, like same sort of situation. But he says that he's played on like R&D maps that they have ideas for once people are used to swapping and throwing your puck and all this kind of stuff, that they have maps that are like really out there compared to the standard stuff.
That'll be cool.
Because there's just like things you can do, like throwing a person across the map essentially, that you can't do on regular attack shooters. So stuff with like elevation or like areas you couldn't get into unless you huck your person into it, or kind of stuff like that. Sounds very interesting, but they want to keep it like relatively simple at first to get people used to the systems. And also I saw a talk with the devs. They're talking about like the skill ceiling is going to be really high for what you can do with that kind of stuff, but they expect most people to start off basically using the Spectre as a second life. Which kind of solves
It does.
It kind of solves like some of the issues that I have with those types of games right now, which is like you're not good, so you die and then you end up spectating forever. So if you can have your other dude just hang back and be safe, and then have like a extra guy to be playing the game longer, that'd be neat.
It's an approachable way to play it.
It's going to be interesting because I think the biggest thing in the tactical shooter realm is information. Like the team with more information is usually the one that wins. I mean, sure, raw skill and aiming and shooting and clicking heads is like something that's like necessary and needed. But if you know that like, okay, the whole team's on B, let's plant A, that gives you a huge advantage. And so now that you have multiple lives to go in and get that information, or like you could just like, scout out with one Spectre, like maybe you're going to be the, I forget what they call it in Valorant, but you're the person who enters first. There's a certain name for that, I forget. But you could basically do that with one of your Spectres. Is that you're just like the entrance fragger, and you could either take one out or just die and get information, which is really cool. One of the things that I saw Shroud talk about was he was asked a question on why the art style, which I think the art style is actually pretty cool. And it was funny when he was trying to answer that question, because like really art style is subjective. So like when you start developing your game, you're pretty much like, I like this art style, let's use it. Hopefully the public likes it. And so that was pretty much their answer, was like, we just vibed with it. We thought it was pretty nice looking, and also you could like see the cues like really easily from around the map, like nothing like was hidden. For instance, your like Black Noir costume in Call of Duty or something, you know what I mean? Like you're gonna be able to see your enemies. There's no way that they could just hide in a corner. Everything's kind of colorful and poppy looking. But yeah, that was an interesting question that was tackled great by the devs, but Shroud was like, I don't know, it looks cool.
It's very unique because it feels like there's a lot of different, like a lot of difference between the player models and the maps.
Yeah.
Just unique. I don't know. Kind of cool. Also, video game realm, Bow Path of the... Is this Bow Path of the Teal Lotus? Is that what you're talking about? Or is there a different game called Bow Path of the Lotus?
I didn't realize there was a teal involved. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's the game I'm talking about. So we talked a little bit last week about Humble Games. Their publishing arm got shut down. And this was the last game that they released. And it, like, just came out, and there was a lot of positive buzz for it. But literally, their funding just got shut off entirely. So they didn't have any funding to, like, put out patches or fix issues with it or anything like that. So they literally had to go onto Patreon to raise money so they could support the game they just released.
Yeah.
Man, what a fucked up industry. Like, what is the point of getting a publisher if shit like this can happen? You know what I mean? Like, why not just be an indie dev if this is what's gonna happen anyways, you know?
It seems like it worked out for Baldur's Gate, right?
Yeah, I mean, it worked out great for Baldur's Gate. I feel like a lot of the big success stories lately have been, like, on Kickstarter. Like, Hollow Knight was a Kickstarter. Baldur's Gate 3 was obviously a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, it's very risky, but...
I feel like this is a giant conversation for a different time, but it's almost like when you start going into AAAs, they start looking more and more into how much can we squeeze out of a game rather than will the player base like it. And so then you start getting hit with microtransactions and start focusing on, you know, the gotcha aspects of it. And like, yeah, you start having development issues. And then this is what we get.
You know, so I still think Rocksteady's a great example of it. They made the Batman Arkham games, critically acclaimed, sold really good. And then the publisher said, hey, you know, live service games are really big. Why don't you make one of those? And they were like, well, okay, that's not really what we're good at, but we can do it. And it, you know, it sold about 5 copies.
Also,
This reminds me of the
Yes.
Wayfinder story. You guys remember that? It was a couple months ago at this point, I think.
I don't know that I know what Wayfinder is.
So Wayfinder, the dev team wanted to build like a PvE co-op game you run with your friends, and then Digital Extremes, who publishes Warframe, came in and said, "Oh yeah, we're doing this publishing thing. We want to publish a game for you. We will host your servers and whatnot and handle like the MMO aspects. You should make this like a live service MMO thing." And they were like, okay, I guess. And so they built out this game to be this live service MMO type style game. And then it didn't do well. And Digital Extremes is like, we're shutting down our publishing arm. And so we're not hosting your game anymore. And they were like, oh, okay, what do we do now? So they actually pulled the game offline and said, we're going to convert it to like our original idea where we have like, you can play with your friends or whatever, but it's not always online and it's like a full complete product and not a live service. And then we'll bring it back. And that's what they did. And it seems like it's going well for them now, but they had to wade through all this crap before that.
Yeah, good for them. I'm glad they came out on the other end, because I mean, that's a kill shot. That's a death blow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I don't. Industry's so fucked up.
the Skill Up, his podcast, Friends Per Second, they did a pretty long interview with them about how it all happened. It is quite good if you have time to listen to it.
And
you're just the shill up for shill up.
I know, right?
Unbelievable.
Yeah. All right, you know what it's time for?
Purple?
VGig? Oh, WHYBPL.
Yeah, VGig. Yeah, it's time to VGig.
VGig, let's go.
I have another one prepared. Oh god, now that I've said it, it's gonna happen at some point. Anyway,
Don't do that.
all right.
It's gonna be like, all right, here's a VGig. Here's the mid VGig. Here's the end VGig.
Our whole podcast is VGig now.
Yeah, the whole podcast. Let's talk about a group game. I left this in here because we've played a lot more of Marvel Rivals, and the closed beta just ended. So I kind of wanted to touch base on it now that we've played a lot more and just get a sense of where everybody's at with this game. Closing thoughts on it. It's going to be a while, obviously, until they're ready to release, it seems like. But I had a good time, at least, with the beta.
I loved it. I thought it was good. I like the third person aspect. I get to see my skins and stuff when they come out.
That's nice.
I felt that the tanks were just like beefy damage dealers, so that like I'd had no problem playing them. I felt the healers, like I had no problem playing them either. Like Rocket was really cool. He did damage. I got called out for that a couple times.
Healers are like healing damage dealers. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It felt good. It almost felt like the healer role was the most important because you had to do damage and heal for your team to actually succeed.
Mm-hmm. I can't believe Chad said I loved it.
I know.
That's crazy.
I was surprised too.
It's normally not a game that he enjoys.
I didn't like it when I played solo. I'm gonna be honest with you. My teammates were all horrible.
Yeah. Well,
I can already tell it's gonna run into the same people auto picking damage issue.
Well, they need the roll pick. That's what they need.
Yeah, we'll see if they add that in. I assume they will, but
yeah.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if they do roll queue. I've also heard talks of like soft roll queue, which would be like you don't pick a roll before you get in, but once a roll is filled, it's locked out. So it still guarantees your team
about to freaking
makeup should be right, but
snipe the damage roll, dude.
I feel like you're gonna have a lot of people quitting out of the game.
Click exactly where Spider-Man is.
Well, they need to make lever penalties bad enough that you can't just leave.
Yeah.
And then queue times will be fine because you don't have to wait on people queuing for tank or healer or whatever. And then you just have, if you want to play if you really want to play DPS, you got to be fast. Snipe it.
Yeah. Do you do you think in that functionality it would lock it out to where you can't even switch roles? Like if you agree with somebody else?
I bet if you like go back to pick, it would like unlock it.
See, I don't know if I like that because there was a match that I had where I was playing tank and somebody was like, I only play Venom. So then I got off tank and he did worse than I was doing. So people will probably be like, I want to switch roles. Somebody switch roles with me at halftime. It's like, no, I want to do that. Just roll queue me.
Yeah. I mean, before roll kill came out in Overwatch, that was my concern. That I was like, what if you're in a game where you're like, oh, I'm doing bad on DPS, somebody swap me. That was my concern before. And then if you had like a soft system like that, that'd be neat, I think. Also, the last day I started spectating tournaments, and there is a pick and ban phase in that, which is so cool. So the way it works is one team gets to ban a hero, and then the other team gets to ban a hero, and then the first team gets to protect a hero.
Ooh.
And then the next team gets to protect a hero, and then you do another round of bans again. So,
interesting concept.
That's a neat idea, I think.
It lets you play against the other team rather than just like having people pick, 6 random heroes to play with and getting stomped because somebody's got, meta squad on the other side.
Like we could just ban Storm, and then we wouldn't have to deal with that dumb ultimate.
Yep.
I do think bans would be a nice touch in Overwatch.
Yeah.
Admittedly, I haven't played Overwatch in a while, but when they do that patch, they're like, "Hey, we decided Bastion should be unkillable this patch." I don't know.
Yeah.
You've never made a video game before. You just say, "You know what? We're not playing with Bastion anymore. He's fake. We're not playing with him."
The one patch where they were like, "What tank should I swap to counter X tank?" And it's like Mauga. Just swap to Mauga. Everybody plays Mauga. Mauga v Mauga. If you don't have Mauga unlocked, you actually lose. Turns out. This was before heroes were free for everybody.
Have they?
I could see bans being an issue at some point, because like if a team bans Ana in Overwatch, say, now their hog is just going to run wild over you because he doesn't really have another counter, right?
Yeah, I guess if there's only one counter, I guess that could be an issue.
That is true.
It's sounding like it's a competitive mode though. And then you would choose that mode.
Yeah, so you see a team ban Ana, unless it's the last ban, I guess that could be an issue. But
right,
if you see a ban on Ana, you're like, oh, well, I'll just ban Hog. Because that would be bad.
Give it another layer.
But what if they protect Hog first? And then you're
exactly.
like, ooh.
Then
You gotta protect Anna.
Then you gotta protect Anna, I guess.
Yeah.
But if they protect Hog second,
What
I
if
mean,
they
like,
ban
oh, no.
Anna and then
Oh my god.
they protect
and
Hog?
then protect Hog.
This
Well,
feels
if they
like to
ban
me
Anna
that it-
first, you ban Anna second.
Oh my god.
But if you ban
Or
Anna
ban
second,
Hog.
yeah,
Guys.
now they just save Hog.
Oh my god.
Do you think if there were just more heroes in the pool and it wasn't a situation where there's just like only one direct counter to Hog, this is an irrelevant conversation?
Yeah.
Like
Less
if it's just
relevant. Yeah.
Larger
Like-
pool,
like Dota?
Like Dota.
That's what I was thinking.
If
right?
it's a
Like,
Dota-sized pool,
there-
yeah, absolutely.
there are direct counters to heroes, but there are also soft counters to heroes where if somebody gets banned, that you can't like directly combat that hero. You can always find somebody who can approach them like close to the same level of competitiveness, but
Yeah.
you're not going to get exactly what you were looking for. So maybe this is just a hero pool size problem.
I mean, even looking to bring it back to Marvel Rivals, the game we're ostensibly talking about.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
I feel like, I mean, it's hard to say, right? It's only been an alpha. Or was it a beta? Whatever.
They're calling
It's
it
super
beta.
duper early. I feel like there aren't as sharp counters as there are on something like Dota or even Overwatch.
That is true.
Like, obviously, flying heroes are quote-unquote countered by hit scan heroes.
Right.
But there are several hit scan heroes. Like, you could kill a flying character with Hela or Punisher. Like, sure, if you ban both of those, that would be really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Starlord.
But, yeah, that's true. There's Star-Lord as
So-
well.
He has to fly up a little bit more, but you know.
Yeah.
The worst one I encountered the entire time I played was I was doing well on Spider-Man and somebody swapped to Penny.
Mm.
And then suddenly
Oh, yeah,
You
sure.
died every time
I would
you jumped
try to
in.
dive their backline and I would just instantly blow up. And I was
I
like,
have
well,
a-
crap.
Okay, this is... I need to think of how to say this so it doesn't just sound like skill issue. But the game is so new that obviously that makes it much harder for you to do your thing, but I don't think it makes it impossible. You know what I mean?
agree.
Like, Spider-Man can pull people out of position,
Right.
so maybe
You just gotta play
need to be
Spider-Man
like...
different.
Yeah,
Yeah, right, and obviously
I would have to
the game
actually
was out-
adapt to the counter.
Exactly.
I think it's a skill issue.
Yeah.
Thank you, Aaron. We were all thinking it.
Yeah.
I will agree it is a skill issue, but I couldn't play the same way I was playing the previously.
Wow.
Yes, like the
And
game
I
has
actually
existed.
it was like something I actually noticed, whereas in the past I hadn't really noticed any hardcore counters.
Right. The game has existed long enough for you to understand how to play Spider-Man
Yep.
at all. Not long enough to be like, oh, well, if this happens, maybe I can do this. It's like, no, I know what his buttons do. That's where I'm at.
This is all I do is right click until I have the thing, and then I go in for the one shot. I'm not using the pull somebody out of the group. What is that? That's
right.
a different tactic.
Yeah. I was using that. I was pulling stuff towards my team before I
Heck
went
yeah,
in.
dude. Heck yeah, dude.
I adored this game for what it's worth. I had a great time. I could see myself trying to play ranked in this game, maybe.
You already did.
Yeah.
You in
I
fact
know.
did already.
I did a little bit just because of like the reward that they were offering.
yeah,
Otherwise,
the
I probably
spray.
wouldn't have touched it.
Great reward.
But then after I did that, I was like, oh, you know what? Rank's pretty fun. Watch your number go up. That's pretty fun.
It's
Watch it
very
go down,
dependent on
though.
your number going up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, like nobody played ranked pretty much, so I hit gold 3, and it was like, you're better than like 95% of the player base, and I was like, dang, I'm good. I'm so good at this game.
What percentage of the people you played against do you think were bots?
I don't
Get his
think
ass.
they were.
Dang.
Get his ass.
I don't think they were bots.
Dang.
I don't think so. I mean, maybe the first few games they were freaking awful. The first few games,
Yeah.
especially the ones I played with you guys when you finally played.
Oh, yeah.
Holy crap, yeah.
And
dude,
this
we
game
just
get
walked up.
hard, and then
But again, I think, we talked about this before. We came from playing Overwatch. We've played a couple hero shooters where we feel competent as a team. And you're like a lot of people who are probably coming in this game, they're like, oh, I like the Marvel IP. It seems like a cool, fun shooter game. I'll play it. And they queue in solo. So there's no team coordination. There's no good comp. And people just run around trying to shoot people and not really understanding how hero shooter mechanics are supposed to function.
Yeah.
I think that's going to flesh out, obviously. And we're going to get to a point where there's just way too many sweaty people again.
Yeah.
And we're, just get exhausted with the game because you're getting outplayed. It's a skill issue.
Mm-hmm.
That is what worries me. A lot of the fun I've been having is that it's so kind of like Wild West, where it's like, oh, what's good? How does this character even work?
Mhm.
Everyone's still kind of learning, and so that's really fun. But once you get like once people
Mhm.
started to figure out like, oh, Venom is crazy busted, it
Yep.
became a lot less fun because everyone just picked Venom.
Cool character.
The beginning of any shooter is the best time to play it.
It's
Yes. Yes.
It is the most fun.
Because it's the
Nobody knows
most
what they're doing.
chaotic.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's really what it is. There's just a lot of chaos going on. When a team is like incredibly tight and figures out like the intricate mechanics of how to play around each other, it becomes way more monotonous and really frustratingly difficult to pull anything off. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know. It just becomes
Yeah.
hard.
It's like there is obviously some fun in like, oh, we figured out a really good combination of things and like
Yeah.
we're optimized. But it feels really bad to be on the other end when you're just trying to have fun with your buddies and
Yeah.
someone else shows up and you get hit with like a super duper ult combo and it's like, man,
Yeah.
I was just here for a good time, you know?
I mean, I
Just
think we
fun to push
experienced
buttons.
that a couple of times in the ranked play we did with Marvel Rivals. But just maybe not like team ability lining up, but just people who are really good on one character and they
Yeah.
have enough like competency with the rest of their team that, well, all of a sudden we end the game and Storm's got 38 kills.
Yep.
Yeah.
Our team has like 7 total. All right,
Mhm.
cool. I don't know. You're probably gonna face that in any game though.
Yeah, right. People are just gonna get good.
The 5th time in the match that you get killed by the Iron Man ult.
Yep.
You just like want to alt F4.
The nice part, I will say, I started this game out, I felt like it was slow. I think for me, that's just because it's third person. That balanced out immediately. I do not feel that way anymore. I feel like the characters, while unique, probably are not really drawn away from each other enough. Like Overwatch game, in Overwatch, I feel like some of the characters are just so dramatically different than the other characters, and they have such a unique playstyle or different playstyle that you have to figure out how to play against them. So I hope they balance some of the characters they have, some of the heroes they have in this. Sorry, some of the rivals they have in this out
Thank you.
to make them.
Yeah, Punishup specifically says he's not a hero.
Mhm.
True.
Of course he does.
Like, I think Venom is a very unique and fun and interesting hero concept, but there are other heroes that I'm like, this is lame. Penny Parker.
sure.
Gosh.
What is
Wow.
that hero?
She's pretty
Penny
unique.
hater.
Yeah, I mean,
She is unique.
Yeah,
she's quite
She's
unique.
uniquely awful.
please.
That
Yeah.
being Spider-Man.
She's your backline protection, which is what I've realized with the Spider-Man play.
I guess.
She's
Yeah.
not like a frontline tank.
Mm-hmm. She's like a peel tank.
Yeah. Also,
I
her
think-
ultimate needs something because it's
Yes.
god awful.
It
It's
is
so
pretty
bad.
bad.
Let me run at you real fast and die immediately. Okay.
It is
Yeah.
funny to watch
It is
someone turn
hilarious.
it on
Funny
and then
every time.
instantly kill him.
God. The other
Meanwhile-
thing that's like
Go
a
ahead.
benefit to this game, I guess, is just that I'm really confident that they're going to be able to balance things out. We experienced a lot of unbalanced abilities, timings, call outs, like voice lines that indicate that there's an ult going off, or just literally the time frame between casting an ult and being able to actually use it. There's some disparity between the rivals, and I think the good news is they're going to have time to balance this out, and it's a game that's capable of being able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So already, I mean, we're just in beta. I already feel like it's a pretty competent game. So I'm very confident that when we get to actual full release, they'll be like, hey, we play tested this for a while. Feel like this is really balanced. I'm sure there's gonna be some sweaty people out there that go figure out, really meta way to deal with various heroes in this game, but it's gonna feel a lot tighter than I think it does right now.
Or it
So-
could go the opposite direction. It could be 5 players, 1 tank.
I didn't get to mess with it, but they slightly extended the beta by like 6 hours and dropped a patch at the very end.
Oh yeah, I did read that.
And one of the fixes says fixed an issue so Storm's ultimate no longer unjustly pierces the scene, whatever that means.
Yeah, it went through walls.
But-
It could kill you through walls.
I would
Yeah.
imagine.
What is that?
Yeah.
So it's another reason why it was busted. But they added like a DLSS frame generation. They did like a bunch of stuff in the last second and then shut it down. I was like, what are you guys doing? Why?
I'll be
Why even
honest.
bother?
After the first time we got freaking just mopped up by that storm, I didn't really have a problem with storms for the rest of the time playing. Their ults didn't really do much. I don't know if people just
I
didn't know how
started to
play it
learn
after. What the heck?
I started to recognize the voice line, which comes with
Yeah.
playing over time, and then as soon as I heard it, you just like scatter, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Sort of like Tyre from Junkrat.
Yeah.
So like
Also-
maybe she'll get one or two, but like not your whole team every time.
It's worth noting something I think we were mistaken about last time. You can kill her while she's in her ult.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
figured
think
that out
last
too.
time we said she was invulnerable. She's definitely not, which is weird. Feels
She gets
like
a
she
big
We were just all
shield.
dead, so we couldn't.
Yeah, right. We just died so
Immediately
fast.
dead.
It was like, oh, she's invulnerable. Obviously,
She gets a big shield, which I don't know why, because she gets to teleport and then also move quickly. Whereas somebody like Scarlet Witch does not get to teleport or move quickly, and she doesn't get a shield.
That's why I think they're gonna figure out that some of these things are just completely unbalanced. They'll fix it. I feel
Yeah.
very confident of that. Plus, we all know, Alex, you probably did like a long form 16-page review of like a report in that form that they asked for to give them all of the pointers that they need to fix their game for when they do full release. So
I did
have all
actually
the-
like
oh my
put
God.
effort into doing a proper surveys for them,
I'm
because
proud
I
of you.
feel like they're actually like paying attention. The amount of times they've been asking for surveys and stuff, I feel like they're actually paying attention to that stuff. So I felt like it was relevant to give them the problems I actually saw with it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, as much as we've been bitching and moaning about it, I think it's pretty well balanced.
Yeah.
Like, Venom is an obvious outlier to me. He's way too good. Storm's a little frustrating, but overall, I feel like if you told me it was coming out tomorrow, full release, I'd be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sign me up, I'm in. Let's go.
Yeah, it'd be a reasonable release
Even-
right now.
Some of the stuff that we thought was super frustrating to begin with, like Punisher's ult being super strong,
Mhm.
turned out that it wasn't too bad. Like you just have to
Get behind
either
a wall.
all in him immediately or hide.
Mhm. Yes.
I
You
mean,
have to know that
Jiggle-
it's coming.
Jiggle peek that bro, and you just figure he's mopped up because he thinks
yeah.
he's invulnerable every time.
Yep.
Also, I don't know if it's just I started versing Venoms that sucked, but I felt like Venoms just weren't a problem anymore towards the end as well. Even with our group,
Mhm.
like it just we knew what to do. I guess I don't know.
It seems like the real trick with Venom is you have to, when he gets onto like a third health, you have to stun him just
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
able to
Mhm.
kill
Yep.
him off before he can shield.
I think most Venoms kind of tried to attack the backline, and so the backline you would call it out because I mean that's what a Venom's supposed to do is like
Yeah.
hop onto
Yeah.
the healers,
Yeah.
and so you just turn around, kill Venom, go back to what you're doing.
I'm excited for it to come out. I'm looking forward to playing another
Yeah,
6-player hero shooter again.
Yeah.
We,
It
we
is
should
6-player,
get,
isn't it?
It is, in
Yeah.
fact.
We should get news at the end of the month. That's what they've said at Gamescom. So I don't know if that'll be a new beta announcement or a release date announcement or what, but something.
Nice. Let's move on to Chad. What
me.
have you possibly been playing?
Little Marvel Rivals.
Yeah.
I
That's
can't
it, right?
think of anything else other than Destiny. I've been playing a little Destiny. They came out with the Solstice, so pretty cool. I just hear from the other room a little. Yeah, they came out with the Solstice event, which is a summer event that happens. You get some nice armor rolls. So if you farm it out, it's I think you can actually technically choose 2 stats on the armor to roll high. I think that's what happened at least last Solstice we all played. This Solstice is different. You don't just have to repeatedly do the bonfire, which is really cool. It gives you tasks like create a bunch of orbs or go run a GM or do 3 dungeon encounters. So you're honestly just playing the Solstice while playing the game. It's cool.
Yeah.
You can also grab all those bounties while you are in orbit. There is a thing on your quest tab that is called the Forge, and you click that bad boy, and you grab whatever quest you want. And there's kind of like a list of 3. One could be like killing stuff with
What
stasis
an
ability. Or,
innovation.
Right? You can do it in game from orbit.
That's crazy.
Mind blowing.
Crazy.
I
This is
thought
the-
you were gonna say from the app.
Yeah.
no, in game, like in orbit. It's wild. When Joe told me that, I had pog face. I was like, "There's no way."
Gosh.
I have also run Salvation's Edge a total of 3 times after we've done it. So that's been fun, trying to teach people that and get that down. It's been like 5-hour adventures. The fastest time we've done it so far is 2 hours and 30 minutes, and that's still with teaching a couple people. I have run Warlords and Solo Flawless that, and Duality and Solo Flawless that. So I've been playing
You went back and did Duality again?
Yeah, I just had to. Duality is like one of my favorite dungeons. I had to Solo Flawless it. It's funny because the second boss, the encounter where you have to grab both the banners and plant them and then kill this really easy mini boss, was actually the part that I kept dying at because I kept trying to be greedy and grab both banners at the same time with a very short time limit. And so finally I was just like, at one point on one of my runs, I was like, all right, Chad, don't be greedy. Just get one banner. Just take your time. It'll be just a little bit more. And yep, got through it. Got the Keitel, one-shot Keitel. Was nice. Fun.
I love that dungeon. It's excellent.
It's so good.
Yeah. Alex, how about you? What are you playing?
Mostly Marvel Rivals. I have like 61 hours in that game.
Jeez,
But
dude.
I also been trying to finish Nine Souls. Still plucking away at that. I think I'm almost done. I'm getting close. I went and checked a walkthrough to see my progress. I think I only have one boss left.
Wow.
Wow.
So
Wow. Wow.
yeah, that's about it.
Cool. Okay. I'll go next. I have been playing a new game called Conscript. It is a sort of top-down Resident Evil-y survival horror that's set in during World War I in the Battle of Verdun. And you play as a soldier who's, I don't know, trying to figure your way out of the trenches. It is a very interesting and unique game, and I think they nailed the feeling of being in the trenches in World War One. It's kind of just
Makes
depressing
you
and
feel like the trenches.
it makes you feel like trenches. Yeah. It's just depressing. It's gross. You're dealing with like rats and also just enemy soldiers who are coming across the sort of trench lines, and the whole time you're trying to gather resources to prevent some of those things from happening while also progressing the story. And it's just a really, I don't know, I really enjoy it. It's really unique. It has an inventory management system similar to like what you would have with Resident Evil. You have limited space, and it really, really harps on that and forces you to make some pretty tough decisions about what you're going to do. You discard something on the ground, it's gone forever. Buckle up. Better not discard anything that's important because you ain't never getting it back. It also has a very, very strict limited save system. I mean, you can choose to turn it off, but I think it's the way the game is designed, where you get these essentially things, they're called ink pellets, and you can go write in ink your save on a journal at various locations throughout the game. And I think I've had like maybe 6 ink pellets. And that is the only time you get to save. You do not save otherwise. You just go back to the last time you saved. If you die, you close out of the game, you go back to the last time you saved, and that is it. So it's really forces you to like be selective about when you're going to do that.
I don't think I've played any other games where like you have limited saves like that. That's interesting.
Yeah,
The
rings
Resident
a
Evil,
bell.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Resident Evil.
the
That's
Resident
it.
Evil comparison is really good because Resident Evil
Yeah.
did that.
Okay. You had to have an item to save.
Mm-hmm. An ink ribbon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I'm trying to think of what else to say about this game. I have not played a ton of it. I think I'm like 6 hours in or something. There are multiple areas of this game. It sends you back to the same spot a lot of times, but that area of the map will have changed either from shelling or from there's a lot of like you get shelled regularly like by gas explosives. Put on a gas mask, run through it. It changes your screen's perspective, the way you hear sounds in the game. I don't know. It's fun. It's unique. I don't think I've played a World War I era game. Actually,
The only one I've played lately is Amnesia: The Bunker.
Mm-hmm.
that's
But
set in
World War
One.
One. Oh yeah.
Huh. Okay.
But it's becoming a more popular setting for whatever reason. World War One's so hot right now.
Man, This is depressing.
Surely there's a Call of Duty in World War One, right?
Oh, is there?
True.
Is there?
Was
I don't think
World
there's
at
a
War,
battlefield.
World War One or
There's a battlefield in World War One.
Yeah.
Battlefield 1.
Mm-hmm.
I think World at War was World War II, wasn't it?
I don't know.
maybe?
Yeah, set during World War II.
Anyway, if you like the survival horror, like Resident Evil-y feel, this is a fun, fairly simple, and I think not super long game. I think it's like maybe... I have to look at how long to beat again, but I think last time I looked it was like 10, 12 hours. So not super long, but I've really enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun playing it. I think it's like $20 on Steam.
Nice.
Ben!
Well, get the most exciting thing out of the way first.
Heck
I
yeah.
played some more Planet Zoo.
Fuck yeah.
I don't really have anything more to add from last time I talked about it. Still fun. Still for all the same reasons. Work in progress. Elden Ring. I played more Elden Ring. I am tentatively willing to say I am enjoying playing Elden Ring.
Oh, we got a voice.
I know. I know. I don't know if we're gonna play some more. I don't know if I love it. Like I'm in love with it, but like it's good. I'm gonna go play some more of it.
Did you
found
beat the man
myself
in the
at-
cave?
I did beat the boss in the cave.
Okay, good.
I was telling Jake about this. I set it down after the last time we talked, and I played some more on I think Tuesday this week. And first off, I got in and I went, cool, let me try it again. And I died several times to the regular wolves in the cave before going to the boss. It's at that point that it took me a couple lives to remember how the controls worked. The main thing that fucked me over is I couldn't remember how to lock onto enemies. A lot harder to hit them when you can't lock onto them.
Yep.
So I got the controls down. I was like, all right, cool. Let's try the boss again. And I beat him my first try. Granted, I beat him with such a tiny sliver of health left. I could not see my health bar.
Best way
Literally, I said Liz was sitting next to me when I was doing it. I think she just sat there listening to me going fuck me for like an entire 60 seconds straight. But I did beat him. It's very exciting.
Nice.
I then left the cave, went on a little bit further, found a like tiny town thing with a bunch of knights in it. I don't know.
Yeah.
And proceeded to sneak around and mostly backstab them all to death.
Yeah. As you do.
Then I went through a big gate and there was a giant guy who fell from the sky and killed me.
Yeah, I remember all
And then
this.
killed me several more times.
You're right.
Until two things happened. One, I went back to a shopkeeper I had found earlier to try to see if there's anything I could buy to help me, and found a witch lady there who gave me a bell that lets me summon things, which I don't know if it's because I beat the cave or not, but right now all I can summon is a pack of wolves. I'm not sure if that's just what you start with or if it's because I beat the wolf cave, but
Yeah, I don't remember if you get it from there or not.
But I then went back and first I had to basically trigger the giant to come down and then lead him back out the gate the other side because there were like 4 archers in there and I didn't have a ranged weapon I was using, so I was like, I'm just gonna lead him out here. And then I summoned the wolves and then did a lot of rolling through his legs, but I managed to kill him.
Nice.
Over the course of this game, I've also been seriously exploiting, I feel like, the jump attack mechanic to do extra damage just constantly.
Just everybody does with heavy weapons.
Yes. Jump heavy.
But
You just
did beat
gotta
the guy.
accept that you're not a scumbag and just continue.
But did beat the giant guy. Accidentally changed the I didn't accidentally. I changed the skill on my katana to like an AoE stomp. Tried that a little and then went, wow, I don't like this. So I changed it back to the whole like unsheath thing that the katana started with. Went through a couple more night guys. 4 wolves fell out of the sky to attack me. It was weird, and then I saved my game, and that's where I've left off.
Love a good wolf tornado.
I was very confused. It wasn't a tornado. They just boop, just fell down, and they were just like, "Oh, hello." I was still mixed on it. Then I found myself earlier today being like, man, I want to go home and play some more Elden Ring. And I was like, shit,
Yes.
it's got me.
Nice.
So,
Yes.
This
I don't know.
Makes me so happy,
I don't
Ben.
have a lot of time these days, but I'll give updates on the 3 hours I'm able to play every 2 weeks.
Nice.
We'll take what we can get.
Man, when you said
He'll be done in 2 years.
yeah, when you at this pace, yeah, when you said I've made it a little bit further, I thought, ooh, okay, he's gotten to a new area, he's fought some new bosses, and then you described to me what you have done so far. I'm like, all right, we have a long ways to go in this game, but I believe I'm so
I have
excited.
not gotten very far.
We get an update from Caleb. How's Caleb's Elden Ring going?
Oh, stuck on the final DLC boss.
Still.
I haven't really played it that much.
That's embarrassing.
He's pretty tough. I did go and find all of the Shadow Tree fragments so that I could be fully leveled on Shadow Tree stuff. So we'll see if that makes much of a difference. I doubt it will.
I just wanted to know if you beat him yet, because today I read an article about how a goldfish beat him. So,
A goldfish?
yeah.
I'm not taking
Okay.
this from the guy who hasn't even finished Elden Ring, okay?
Yeah, OG
get his
Elden
ass.
I forgot to mention, I did get my girlfriend in Elden Ring. That did happen also.
Man.
wow.
when
I have her now.
Ben started the
Nice.
segment, it was reminding me of the TikToks that I used to watch of Baldur's Gate when it first came out, and people were like bashing on it and saying it was bad. And there was this one guy in particular that was like, "This game sucks. Okay, I'll prove it. I'll play it, and I'll show you guys how bad it is." And so he starts playing it. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm like 3 hours in, and I don't know if I like it, but I got to this town and I started talking to these guys, and I was kind of interested in what they were saying." So I'll tell you what happens for the next session. And the next session comes on. He's like, "All right, so I played for 8 hours straight. I'm addicted to this game now."
For sure. Caleb.
So I went back and replayed, I don't know why, but I had a hankering for it, Prey Moon Crash, which is the DLC that's like a roguelike version of Prey, essentially. And I think we probably talked about this before, so I won't say much, but man, what a stellar game. It is such a unique roguelike experience. I highly recommend anyone who's even slightly into roguelikes to check it out, because it is so cool.
Was it just all the conversation we were having about Arcane Studios, and it was just like at the back of your mind there was an itch? For
I don't
Prey?
know.
Like,
Is that the arcane that shut down?
I
I never remember,
I
but
don't
it doesn't
remember
matter,
if-
right? It's
don't
still
remember if
Arcane.
Moon Crash was the same people or not. They made Prey, but I don't know if they made Moon Crash. I can't remember if that was the same studio or not.
Probably no moon crashed you.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not. But man, so good. It's probably partly because of the second game that I'm going to talk about, which is You Will Die Here Tonight. It is much much in Aaron's genre today, as it is also a very Resident Evil-like top-down retro kind of aesthetic game.
They're liking those lately.
Yeah. This one's pretty unique in that the combat plays out in first person. So when you get close to an enemy and they start to try to fight you, it swaps to a first person mode where you are shooting them or fighting them off with a knife or whatever.
Weird.
Very weird.
Jarring, maybe?
Does it just cut
it's not
or
that
like
bad. Yeah, it kind
How
of just fades in.
fades in? Okay.
Yeah, it's not bad actually.
I was imagining the camera like zooming into perspective. I think that'd be kind of cool.
No, it doesn't do anything like that. Man, this game has a lot of really cool puzzles in it. It's really, really short. I've 100%ed it in 5 hours. So it's not long by any means, but it does some of the same stuff that Prey Moon Crash does that I think is cool. Not to nearly the same degree as Moon Crash, but it has hints of that, which I think is really cool. So it's like a roguelike that you play with multiple different characters. Kind of its big thing. And it's got a really cool narrative that almost becomes meta at some point. Pretty interesting. Really recommend it. I think Aaron in particular would like it since he likes Conscript.
Yeah, it looks a little bit more horror themed than Conscript is, but definitely in the same vein of navigation and just like style. So yeah, I'll probably give it a try. Okay, Last but not least, Jake.
Yeah, so I don't know. I haven't had a lot of time to play stuff, honestly. But after playing Marvel Rivals, I kind of had a hankering for something Marvel-y. So I installed Marvel Ultimate Alliance, which was a PS3 game.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. It took, honestly, most of my time spent playing this game was trying to figure out how to get a controller to work with it. It turned out I had to turn off Steam's built-in, like, controller configuration thing.
Oh, no.
Don't know why that was causing the issue. I assumed that would help fix the issue, but it did not. I had to disable it, and then it just worked fine. So for anyone who doesn't know, Ultimate Alliance is sort of like a action RPG that has a huge pool of Marvel characters to pick from. It's kind of just like a beat-em-up. You have, you hold the right trigger and you get some abilities that come up. You level up, you can unlock new abilities and level up your abilities. You get different costumes, and the different costumes have different abilities you can unlock. It's just fun. It's not very complex, I'll say, but it's good, clean fun. On my team right now, I've got Dr. Doom, which is funny because he's also the primary villain of the game.
What?
He was like I don't know if it was DLC or if he was like a special edition character, but I just have Dr. Doom. I'm just running around with Dr. Doom, and they're like, God, we gotta stop fucking Dr. Doom. And I'm like, preach, brother. He's out of control. But I've got him, I've got Deadpool, I've got Hulk, which also must be a DLC character because there's a mission where you rescue Bruce Banner, which is also weird when I'm like, oh, hey, look, it's you.
It's me.
And who's my last guy? Dr. Doom, Hulk, Deadpool. Wow, they must really be making an impact. Oh, Nightcrawler. I've been using Nightcrawler.
Wait,
but
do you play as one of them and the other four are just hanging around?
You can switch
AI?
on the fly.
Okay.
But yeah, the people you're not controlling actively are just AI controlled. The AI is dog shit. They basically just mash attack. Theoretically, it's multiplayer, but I was like, man, I'm not gonna get anyone to play this fucking 2002 game with me. I'm just gonna play it. But yeah, it's just fun. I don't know. I think the thing that has brought me the most joy is that it predates all the Marvel movies, and so it feels like they didn't quite figure out what part of comics are too stupid to include in media. There's a character just called Dum Dum Dugan. That's his name. And they call him that. They're like, yeah, we just got some intel from Dum Dum Dugan. I'm like, you shouldn't have used that character. You should have picked someone else. Like, literally anyone else. And then, like, the main villains, I wrote this down because it was so funny. They are the masters of evil.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's what they call themselves. I love it. That's great.
Excellent.
What do we call our group? I don't know. We need to make sure everybody knows we're very evil, though.
Do you think that we should make sure they know that we're basically cartoons? Yes, it's very important.
Yes. Oh man. It's a good time. It's a nice one when I'm like, man, I want to play something, but I don't want to like Elden Ring. I love Elden Ring, but I need to be like dialed in if I'm going to play Elden Ring. It's like I need to be able to like focus and react, but sometimes I'm like, man, I'm tired. I just want to push buttons.
Yep.
And it's been good for that.
Nice.
Now, I really want to see a Marvel Rivals version of Nightcrawler now.
Oh my god, that would be so
mentioned
much
it.
fun. Holy shit.
I feel like he's going to be just like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You know what I didn't think about, but it's really convenient for Marvel Rivals, is that they have such a deep pool
Oh,
of
yeah.
personalities to be able to pull from.
Basically
They
unlimited.
have Luna Snow in the game. Who is that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
the one
Cold lady.
you're pulling out of all the
Yeah.
characters, not Jeff
Not
the Shark.
Jeff the
or whatever
Land
his name is.
Shark.
People know Jeff the Land Shark. at
Everyone
least.
knows Jeff the Land Shark.
I've never even
Man.
heard of a shark in the Marvel universe other than King Shark.
Jeff the Land Shark is basically the most famous Marvel character.
King Shark is DC, Aaron.
of all time.
Get off the podcast.
Yeah, that's pretty
Get him out.
embarrassing.
I just meant
Pretty
in
embarrassing.
comics universe. Is what
Oh,
I meant.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. Good save, good save.
Speaking of Marvel, forgot to bring this up earlier. Did everybody see who they chose for Doctor Doom?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr.
Man,
Yep.
Arnie J.
that is like,
Interesting.
man, there's like a good side
There's
to
no
that
other
and also a
actors in the
bad side to
world,
that.
You know,
right?
why would you find a new actor? There's none.
So, arguably the good side to it, and the side that's kind of exciting, is since they're already dealing partially with multiverses, this could just be evil Tony Stark,
Hmm.
which is like, all right. But then
Sure.
also it's just like, man, has there really been a good Doctor Doom like on screen yet?
It can't.
Like, no.
I mean, I'm not gonna say it can't, but here's the thing: evil Tony Stark doesn't. There's no basis for that in any comic that's ever been. Sorry, not him being evil, but him being evil and being Doctor Doom. There is no
Well,
basis
there,
for
But
that. Sorry,
It's
it
actually from a
exists.
comic. Yeah.
Tony Stark being Doctor Doom.
Tony Stark ends up being Doctor Doom in one of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Never mind. I
Get his
apologize.
ass out of here.
I had not
Fucking
heard of
roast
that.
him.
Freaking first
Take
Aaron
him
now.
off the podcast,
Now Ben.
too.
My bad.
Like,
Yeah.
holy crap.
Yeah, get
That's
Uh,
instantly what
fake
everybody started
gamers.
citing.
Yeah. But like at the same time, it's like if we could just like have a good Doctor Doom with like good Fantastic Four characters, maybe we can like, I don't know, have a good Fantastic Four for once. But no, Tony Stark. It's a safe option.
People who
Tony Stark
read
brought it down
comics
Junior.
always talk about how Doctor Doom's like the greatest villain of all time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So if he can do like a really good performance with him and they actually write him well, I think it'll be awesome.
Just about to see Tony trying to sell missiles the entire time.
I've also seen people calling for like they should just not have him ever take his mask off and not actually be Tony Stark.
Y'all, you didn't
But there's
hire
there's
Robert
no
Downey
way they're gonna
Jr.
do
to
that.
hide his face. Like, there's
There's
no fucking
absolutely
way.
no way.
Mhm.
And I actually think I
couldn't
would
even get that with
prefer.
Halo.
I think I actually would prefer the version where it ends up being an alternate version of Tony Stark.
Yeah.
I think that'd be an interesting storyline.
If that
But
happens, it'll be decent. But like, I mean,
at the same time, I'm like now sad that I know who's playing him.
yeah, exactly.
Like,
This could have been.
I guess like how
something
do you
that's just,
hide
like,
that
surprise.
information to make it a twist? But
That is tough. I don't know.
it would have been cool if I had no idea and it like he lifted his mask and it was him. I was like, oh.
I will say the issue is if I didn't know he was playing, I probably just wouldn't have any interest in it. Honestly,
Oh,
like I
yeah.
haven't watched any Marvel movies in
That's
a hot
true,
minute.
I haven't
Like-
seen any Marvel movies since Endgame.
Oh wow. Got out on the high note.
That's
It's
kind of what
genuinely
happened.
good for
I
you.
watched Endgame, and then they kept being like, "Oh, this next movie's out." I'm looking, I'm like, I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
and that's
Smart.
been basically all of them. The only one which I do feel like I want to go back and watch is some of the Spider-Man movies, which I have not
Yeah.
seen. I haven't seen
Mm.
anything
I like
other
the
than
Spider-Man.
the first
Those are good,
Spider-Man
yeah.
movie.
Yeah, they're-
Spider-Man
they're
ones
I
are
was
good.
about to.
The sequels to those look decent enough that I should watch them, but none
Tom
of the other
Holland and
Marvel movies I
Zenyatta.
feel like I care about.
They just carry the show, so the movies. So you're like, you're fine.
Did you say Zenyatta?
Don't just skip over it. Just keep moving.
Zendaya. My brain tonight, guys. Zendaya. Woo!
I was about to say, I feel like even though we kind of knew who was going to be in the Spider-Man movie, we still had it never really confirmed.
Yeah.
So it was still a question mark. I feel like they could have done the same thing with Robert. Like they could have just not really said anything and like maybe had it not
I
listed
think-
as cast or I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they've
I think
hidden
it'd have been
stuff
much.
before.
It would have been much harder to hide who is playing the primary villain versus we haven't even confirmed that we're pulling in other Spider-Men to this movie and it's like a secret surprise and we just have them show up.
Oh, they've hidden Miss Deadpool or whatever.
True.
There's I see what you're saying, but I feel like just like I said, Doctor Doom, then that's it.
Yeah.
I honestly think if there's any like set of characters that people would be excited about them pulling into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it would be the Fantastic Four. So that could be something where they probably could have kept it secret because people have been hoping for a quality Fantastic Four film for literal decades at this point.
Mhm.
So if anything, that
What,
would
y'all
have been
didn't like
like
Jessica Alba. Like what are you,
Oh
what are
my
you talking about?
that's not the worst one, at least.
Yeah, true.
After they
So
announced this
sad.
RDJ thing, people have been like, man, are they going to bring in what's his face, Captain America to play Human Torch?
Yes,
That would
Yes.
be funny.
reprise his
good.
role. That'd be perfect. Man. Anyway. All right. Well, I think that's it for the podcast. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Ben will maybe have faced another Elden Ring boss, so we're all
I
excited
maybe
to
will,
hear.
in 2 weeks, have played another 30 minutes of Elden Ring.
Heck yeah, dude. You need to stop playing so much Kingdoms of Amalur, and then you can play more Elden Ring.
Hey, no.
Uh-huh.
Too much Planet Zoo.
All right, well, thanks so much for joining us. We'll catch you next time. See you.